Hey everybody, how are you guys? I have a video for you guys today. I have a situation with my family. I have a situation with my family all the time. And yesterday, I don't mix with my family. For some reason, especially when I got into this a little bit more, there's like a jealousy factor or a clash of beliefs, okay? Despite the fact that in Cuba, my grandfather's stepmom tenía su negra que comunicaba con ella and whatnot. It doesn't make a difference, you know. It seems to be ahí hay gato encerrado, como dicen los cubanos, meaning there's something hidden there, you know, because they're curious. Y por más que han mandado hacer cosas to my father and whatnot, porque todo eso sale, tú sabes. But they act as if they are non-believers. They not they, my grandmother. My grandfather is a firm believer, and he doesn't have a voice in my home because my grandmother has dominated the fuck out of him. But not me. I'm not easily dominated. I have my mom's fire in me. So it's funny because yesterday we were watching a movie called The Miracle of St. Anna. Beautiful movie. It's about World War II, and God. And the whole idea of the movie was behind the statue of Aphrodite, who, it was one of the soldiers, the American soldiers. He was this black soldier, and he saved the life of a little white Italian boy who was was playing, in this little like shed looking thing, and it caves in on him, and he is about to die. And the soldier has the head of Aphrodite with him. And it linked in so much from like Louisiana voodoo and New Orleans and all of that, because he was saying it's worth more than a black cat's bone, and he knew it was valuable, and he rubs it because he couldn't lift the ledge off the little boy. He told him, I don't have the strength to save you, but then he rubs just the front of the statue, and suddenly he has the strength, and he saves the little boy's life. The little boy becomes his own son. I mean, the soldier ends up losing his life, but gives him a rosary while he's dying. You'd think the little boy was dead too, but he was taught, I guess, to fake it. His brother was killed. They're like the same age, and his brother appears to him and says, "You're not dead anymore." So he wakes up, and then the brother tells him, I have to go home, but you're not dead anymore. And the little boy disappears, the brother. And then a bunch of time goes by, and one of the soldiers that was there for that shoots one of the German, the opposing in World War II. He sees him years and years later as he's working, and he shoots him. That's how the whole movie starts. Well, anyways, he gets arrested, and when he's going to go to court, this millionaire saves his ass, and the guy had no fight in him. There was so much trauma that came to him when he seen that man buying a ticket that he shot him. And then come to find, the little boy had survived. And when he read about it in the newspaper, $2 million bail, he paid it cash. And then at the end of the movie, they're all dressed in white. Es un puertorriqueño in the movie. He's Puerto Rican, this soldier in particular. He doesn't ask any questions. And then he's taken to this beach, which is where Aphrodite was born. Aphrodite was born in the foam that touches your feet of the waves, okay? That's where she was. That's where they say in Greek mythology. In Roman mythology, she's Venus. Muy cerquita con Yamaya. Hang on. So, as I'm reading today, because today's my mother's birthday, and I'm reading, and there's this, I've always said my mom is my soulmate. I've always said that. I've also always said that my grandmother has never mourned her death, and it's a huge problem for us. It's a huge clash, because the more I got into this, the more I was open to a lot of espiritismo y cosas que me han pasado. And I'm very connected to my mom. I've always said that woman is my soulmate. It's incredible. I don't know any other moms and daughters like the way my mother and I were. Huge tragedy for me, for everybody. She's very special. So anyhow, So we're watching this movie, and I'd never really spend time with them like that because there's such a disconnect between my grandparents and I. I do what I do; they let me do it, but it's like a big elephant in the room, you know. So we were all watching it, which is pretty incredible, and we're all crying at the end of it, you know, because the little boy ends up being. He gives the Puerto Rican the rosary in the same way he had him kiss the cross when he was a child, because the soldier that saved him said, "Give this to him so he knows who his dad was." You know, and it wasn't his dad, but it was his dad. You know, they even developed their own language where they would pat, you know, 1 for yes, 2 for no, and boom, boom, you do 6 times. It was just incredible, the bond they had. So at the end of the movie, the little boy, who's now an adult, who did great for himself because of that experience of, you know, the war and the death that he saw, and I mean the massacre that he watched, you know, and he survived, gives the American soldier the rosary, and he kisses it as well, and it was crazy to watch that. And they're dressed in all white and they're at the beach, and that statue had been found at the American soldier's home, so it was a huge controversy in the movie. They didn't know how it got there. It had been missing, but it was because he kept it from the World War II. From that time, he buried it in his home. And come to find, March 16th, so for those of you born today, there is a story of Aphrodite who, that's how you pronounce it, who, to escape the monster, which can be a plethora of things, whatever you consider to be a beast, you know, a vice, a curse, whatever it is. She ties her fin, because she's a fish, they're fishes, Pisces, ties her fin to her child's fin. She ties them together so they can swim off and escape and not get separated. Hence, my mother's my soulmate. You know, there's such a strong, like, it's almost like the umbilical cord was never cut between her and I. You cannot take her from me by any means, no matter how much people, you can't. So, and today she is mi madre, que viene siendo Yemaya. It's kind of funny how she was born, Aphrodite's born at the foam of the water. Just like my mother, which is March 16th, that's a specific story for today's date. You know what I'm saying? There are people that fear rejection, those born on this day. That's their downfall. Which is not bad for considering all the downfalls you can have. March 16th, people just fear rejection, but they have it's the psychic versus the addict. That's, you know what I mean? It can be, that's the opposite end of the spectrum for them. They can fall victim to vices because they feel too much. You know what I mean? But they're mystics by birthright. So just something to think about. So you're pretty amazing if you're born today. So happy birthday. I congratulate you. I think you're pretty badass. Anyhow, I'm going to go inside. I think I triggered something with my grandparents because I was talking to them about it. My grandmother, I choose to believe that it's tough love. The same way she's given me. She needs to face that beast, which is the loss of her daughter, which I can't even, if something were to happen to my son, I would fall apart. She has endured one hell of a scar. But the problem with the strongest woman I've ever known, my grandmother, she has it bandaged so well that she is defined by it. And it has affected all of us because it affects what I do, because it's blocked las cosas espirituales que nos han pasado, which is many. My mom is strong. So we always have these crazy things happen, but she shuts it out. And it's almost a disrespect. It's almost a disservice to her daughter, to my mother, who I believe speaks in all those things. I had a sparrow fly in here a few days ago, and the sparrow happens to be one of the birds of Aphrodite, as well as the dove and the swan. But the sparrow flew in here. And that's pretty amazing.